Neighborhoods of Manhattan, New York. A small travel agency named World Travel Agency, with a sign only 3 meters wide, opened quietly. In a small travel agency with an area of no more than 50 square meters, there are only a set of old desks, sofas and coffee tables from the second-hand market. The morning sun shines into the hostel through the dusty floor-to-ceiling windows, making the old furniture show signs of time. Pedestrians rushing to work occasionally glance at this travel agency, which is like a leather bag company. Seeing the only Asian face behind the desk, he curled his lips in disdain, and continued on his way. System. That's all right. Sitting behind the desk, Luo Tang asked the system in his mind after completing the travel agency procedures. Wanji Travel Agency. This is the name of the system. And to activate the system, a travel agency must be opened in a Manhattan neighborhood. If the system hadn't provided him with the initial capital and identity information, he might not be able to afford to open such a small shop after just crossing over. Ding. It is detected that the host meets the system activation conditions, and the system of Wanji Travel Agency is activated. The tourist list is opened, the system warehouse is opened, and the novice gift package has been distributed to the system warehouse. Start implementing rule protection for the host. When you are in a travel agency, the host is invincible. Outside the travel agency, tourists are not allowed to harm the host. A rule light visible to the naked eye flashed through the travel agency at high speed, and finally converged on Luo Tang. Before Luo Tang could react, the light had disappeared. Looking at his body that hadn't changed at all, he turned his head to look at the novice package in the system warehouse. Open the novice gift bag. Ding. Obtained master level fighting proficiency. Ding. Obtained a master level proficient in firearms. Ding. Get body strengthening potion X1. 3 beeps sounded. Luo Tang blinked, feeling the extra gun skills and fighting skills in his mind, and a satisfied smile appeared on his face. With master level fighting proficiency and master level proficient in firearms, even if special forces are in front of him, he is sure to kill them quickly. Looking at the small blue test tube in the system warehouse, he held it in his hand with a thought. Uncorked the bottle. Drank the body strengthening potion in the test tube in one gulp. A fierce heat flow swept through the whole body immediately. The muscles of the body became sharp and angular, and the waist and abdomen, which were originally a little fat, had an extra 8-pack abs in the blink of an eye. The scars from youth disappeared directly under the effect of body strengthening potions, and even the skin became as delicate as a newborn. Looking at the figure reflected in the floor-to-ceiling windows, Luo Tang raised his eyebrows slightly. Handsome but not feminine, tall and straight without lack of strength. His current appearance, if placed in Asia, I don't know how many fans and rich women he will attract. It's a pity that I'm in New York now, and most of the girls here don't appreciate Asian faces. Luo Tang opened the tourist list on the system interface while feeling the power from his fingertips that surpassed the limits of ordinary people. Tourist list Ram from the world from scratch. He is a one-horned genius of the Ghost Clan. Purpose of travel. Restoring the unicorn, D-class tourist. Kirishima Dong Shang from the world of Tokyo Ghouls, Yuhei Ghouls. Purpose of travel. To find a stable source of meat, D-class tourists. Zhang Chulin from the world under one person, the source of the 8 wonders of art and energy. The purpose of the trip. To release the Shugong Sha, a D-level tourist. Hexi from the world of Super Seminary. She is a female angel under the order of Tiangong. Purpose of travel. Looking for true love, D-level tourists. Nakiri Arena from the spirit world of the famous food halberd, the successor of the She of the Gods. The purpose of the trip. To find rare ingredients, E-level tourists. The rule of the Wanji travel agency system is very simple. Entertain tourists from all worlds. To achieve the tourist's travel purpose, you can copy any of the tourist's ability, items, and bloodlines. Because Luo Tang's current travel agency level is only LV1, so at present, he can only entertain D-level and E-level tourists. F*K. System. I'm afraid you are embarrassing, Dad. Luo Tang scratched his head, looked at the tourist list with nearly 100 people, and cursed in his heart. Leaving aside the E-level tourists, in the crisis-ridden Marvel world, most of them are just ordinary E-level tourists. For him, there is an egg for him. After taking the body strengthening potion, with the strength beyond the limit of the human body, he is comparable to Captain America at worst. Coupled with master-level firearms and fighting proficiency, it is estimated that even Captain America will be hammered to the ground by him. Receive ordinary people. Do you really think he is free? For him, only D-class tourists are profitable. But the travel goals of D-level tourists are getting more and more difficult one by one. He can't recover Ram's unicorn, and Kirishima Dong Shang wants to find a stable source of meat, and he can't do it either. Ghouls or cannibals. Could it be that he should go to the morgue every day to steal corpses? He couldn't get over that hurdle in his own heart. As for Zhang Chulin, who has been a virgin for 10,000 years, it is better to continue to be a virgin, untie Shugongsha, and let that guy harm the little girl. After some comparison, the only thing that Luo Teng can accomplish is probably Hexie's travel purpose. Look for true love. Analysis: the angel under the order of the Heavenly Palace. Hasn't the era of the Three Kings begun in the world of the Super Seminary? Then there is a high probability that Hexie is just an ordinary angel with no power. No, D-level tourists should have some strength. In this period, they should be close to resisting Hua Yi, who just changed the female angel gene. At this point in time, I want to find true love. Is it because I'm afraid that I won't have another chance after death, or is it something else? Luo Tang stroked his chin, thought for a moment, and then took Hexie's travel order. Ripples appeared on the gate of the travel agency like water waves. Strangely, the pedestrians on the street didn't seem to notice the change of the gate at all. Hexie, who was wearing a white toga robe, stepped out from the ripples of the gate. Standing in front of the gate with rippling water, surprise and doubt shone in those azure blue eyes. Looking at his eyes' long silver hair and flawless face like quicksilver, Luo Tang was amazed. After being stunned for a moment, he came back to his senses and said, "You are welcome, Hexie." She raised his head and stared at Luo Tang closely. His eyes seemed to be covered with a layer of white mist. "I can't read your message. Space-based system, has it been completed? Let me introduce myself. My name is Luo Tang. I am the owner of this travel agency and the person who helps you complete your travel goals. You should have known this before you came. It's beyond my comprehension, and how do you know about space-based systems? I still know your future. Want to hear it? Asterisk 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 asterisk." Sitting on the old sofa, Hexie held a glass of water in both hands, listening to Luo Tang's narration. That elegant sitting posture carries a gentle temperament exuding from the bones. The sun shone on her, making this scene as beautiful as a picture scroll. After Luo Tang briefly talked about the development process of angel civilization, he looked at Hexie, who was deep in thought, and was slightly lost in thought. The Hexie in front of him almost satisfied all his beautiful imaginations about his lover. Gentle, brave, kind, wise, and beautiful to the extreme. Unable to restrain himself, he took out his mobile phone and took a picture of this beautiful scene. It's hard to believe that a pre-nuclear civilization can give birth to a character like you. She tilted his head, looked at Luo Tang's movements, and chuckled softly. Luo Tang, who was knocked out of his tricks, touched the tip of his nose, and put away his phone in embarrassment. "I am not from this world, and, in every universe, there are always some special existences, aren't there?" "That's right, the universe is vast and boundless, let alone different worlds." Hexie nodded. With the information instilled by the system before, she easily accepted Luo Tang's explanation. Being able to bring people from different worlds to another world is not a power she can understand, at least, it is currently beyond her comprehension. "When can I go back?" She asked again. Keisha, and Liang Bing's alliance against Hua Yi have only just begun to form. Female angels urgently need her to go back and take charge of the overall situation. Although according to what Luo Tang said, they can defeat Hua Yi, but what if the situation changes? 1 month later, the travel period will end, or the purpose of travel will be fulfilled. Luo Tang shrugged. He already knew the time limit of the system when he received the travel order. 1 month is not long. She nodded. Thinking of the purpose of this trip, a blush flashed across Chow Chow's face. She just sighed a few times in the room, and was taken to a completely strange world. There is also a stranger who wants to help her find true love. No matter how you think about it, it makes people feel extraordinarily shy. However, now is not the right time to talk about children's personal affairs. Now the female angel has just started plotting against Hua Yi, Liang Bing and Kesha, and they are waiting for her to go back and preside over the overall situation together. Moreover, the strength of the Wei Angel Corps is much higher than that of the female angels. Your Excellency is so clear about the development of angel civilization, can you give us some help? I am willing to pay the corresponding price. Hexie looked at Luo Tang and spoke carefully. Judging from the initial contact, the mysterious man in front of him has a high degree of affection for the female angel. On the contrary, for the male angel, the other party is obviously very disgusted. The power of Wanji Travel Agency made her see a power far superior to Wei. If only I could get some help from this mysterious shop owner. It is bound to be able to overthrow Hua Yi in one fell swoop. I don't promise it will be useful to you. Luo Tang was silent for a moment before deciding to help Hexie. Although the power level in the Marvel world is not bad, but with his current strength, it is difficult to get in touch with some things. He wasn't even sure if his help would be useful. Thank you very much. She smiled, put his right hand in front of Shuan, and bowed slightly. Then he said again. What should I do? Well, let me get some money first. The banking system and financial system here are not complicated, very simple things. Don't mess around. Don't worry, you won't be discovered. Drip, drip, drip. After Hexi finished speaking, Luo Tang's second-hand cell phone sent a series of text message alerts. Looking at nearly 100 transfer messages worth tens of millions of dollars on his mobile phone, he frowned. There are more than $1 billion in assets for no reason. Will the FBI come to check the water meter tomorrow? The funds provided by the system to Luo Tang are only $500,000 US. In Manhattan, New York, where land is at a premium, after buying this storefront of more than 50 square meters, he was already out of pocket. Otherwise, there wouldn't be only one desk and a second-hand sofa in this travel agency. Who knew that just by saying a few words, she would add more than $1 billion to his account? Get rich in the blink of an eye, no matter what. Space-based system, really convenient ability, Luo Tang said with emotion. I have already labeled the space-based system as a get-rich system in my heart. For the Earth that has not yet entered the space age, space-based systems are completely bug-like. I'm afraid Iron Man Tony Stark's smart butler Jarvis is not enough to see in front of it. What's next? She put the water glass in his hand on the coffee table. There was a faint smile in the blue eyes. It seemed that seeing Luo Tang lose his composure gave her a great sense of accomplishment. Luo Tang stroked his chin with one hand. His original plan was to fly to Russia to find the Green Titan Bruce Banner mutated by gamma-ray radiation. After all, Bruce Banner has no power, no money, no power, and belongs to the best group of people. But now that he has so much money, the plan can be slightly changed. Like, go see Iron Man Tony Stark first. Luo Tang picked up his mobile phone and dialed the customer service number of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. A few minutes later, with the help of a professional account manager, with a deposit of over $1 billion, he directly became the top VIP of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. With this identity, he successfully made an appointment with Tony Stark, the major shareholder and CEO of Stark Industries. Meet tomorrow morning at the Stark building at 10 a.m. Let's go. First I'll buy you some clothes from this era, Luo Tang said to Hexi. After closing the door of the travel agency, the two strolled along the commercial streets of Manhattan. New York is a large commercial city, and Manhattan is the busiest area with the most concentrated population. The commercial street here covers almost 90% of the high-end luxury products on the market. In just over 10 minutes, Hexi, who was dressed in a toga robe like an ancient Roman costume, was completely new. A pure white tunic dress with 5 centimeters high white pointed high heels. Hexi, who has pale pink eyeshadow, naturally exudes an elegant and noble temperament. With a height of 1.78 meters and a flawless and delicate face, while making countless women feel ashamed, it also makes countless boys with high hormones on the street turn their heads frequently. Can you go shopping with me more? She looked at the exquisite clothes in the window on both sides of the street, his eyes sparkled. She didn't expect that a planet with a pre-nuclear civilization could create so many gorgeous costumes. Dwang. With a loud noise, a locomotive worth tens of thousands of dollars crashed into a fire hydrant on the side of the road. The guy in the helmet had already flown out, and he was still looking at his Zai's peerless face reluctantly. I'm afraid that if I continue to wander, people will die. Luo Tang sighed helplessly. Walking on the street with the goddess, although it is extremely enjoyable, it also greatly satisfies his vanity. But in more than 10 minutes, 4 people hit the electric pole, 2 people wrestled, 1 hit the fire hydrant, and 6 people came up to strike up a conversation. Who can stand this? It is said that a beauty is a disaster, but this is too much. Beautiful lady, may I know your name? A man in a suit and leather shoes, who looked like a successful person, gave a gentleman's salute gracefully. No, get out, Luo Tang said angrily to the man who struck up a conversation. Damn dick. Are these men blind? Can't see him standing next to Hexi? Yellow monkey, you'd better show some respect. I'm. Boom. Before the man who approached him finished speaking, Luo Tang punched him in the abdomen. With a punch that exceeds the limit of the human body, even a professional boxer can score points in minutes, let alone an ordinary person. The man who picked up the conversation fell to his knees on the ground without even saying a word. Let's go back. Luo Tang shook his hand with a look of disgust. It's not that he doesn't want to go shopping with Hexi, but that if he continues to go shopping, he's really afraid that he can't help but beat up this group of bastards with brains. Courtship is an instinctive desire derived from the genetic level of biology. It's very interesting, isn't it? Hexie's mouth curled up in a nice arc, and he tilted his head, looking at Luo Tang with a constipated expression on his face. Very troublesome. Although I can't read your thoughts, judging from the expression of biological emotions, you are declaring the ownership of your spouse? Poor expression. In other words, you like me and want to possess me, don't you? Luo Tang's cheeks twitched slightly, facing such a straightforward question. He didn't know how to answer for a while. He looked at Hexie with a smile on his face and wisdom shining in his eyes. For the first time, he felt that it was not a good thing for a woman to be too smart. The next day, 10 o'clock in the morning, Luo Tang and Hexie, led by the staff, stepped into the top floor of the Stark building. Last night, you didn't seem to sleep very well. Is it because of the restlessness of biological physiological instinct? She asked while walking. Ha. Be more polite, can I use the word, lonely sleepless? Luo Tang yawned and rolled his eyes helplessly. Although the two stayed in the same hotel last night, they lived in 2 rooms in the presidential suite separately. Faced with an angel that makes people thump, but can't kiss fangs. It's a man who can't sleep, okay. Definitely yes. She smiled, with a hint of triumph in his eyes. Pepper Potts, who led the way, looked at the 2 people who seemed to be showing their affection, and felt that their throats were going to be inflamed. Mr. Sleepless, beautiful lady, please come in. Mr. Stark is already waiting for you too. Your name, it's better to give it to Tony. Luo Tang rolled his eyes at Pepper, pushed open the door of the CO's office and walked in. With a flawless jewel like Hexie in front of him, he has absolutely no interest in the freckled Pepper Potts. It's the same even if the woman's ability is good. In the CO's office full of technology, Tony Stark, wearing brown sunglasses, is smoking a cigar and resting his feet on the desk. Before becoming Iron Man, he has experienced a series of life transitions, and he has a cynical playboy air about him. The moment he saw Hexie, Tony Stark stood up from behind the desk with his eyes shining. Oh, Potts, you didn't tell me that there is a beautiful angel who came to the Stark group. With an exaggerated smile on his face, Tony Stark straightened his clothes, pretended to be a gentleman, and took the initiative to greet him, wanting to shake hands with Hexie. Potts shrugged and closed the office door directly, not bothering to look at Tony, who was blushing. Luo Tang glanced at the model of the Stark Industrial Expo on the right side of the office, and raised his hand to point to Hexie. Hexie chuckled, turned a blind eye to the hand extended by Tony Stark, turned and walked towards the model. Ordinary people have no secrets at all in front of space-based systems. And someone like Tony Stark is simply impossible to be respected by Angel, let alone favored. Beautiful Miss Angel, are you also interested in the industrial park model? This is my father's masterpiece, and I love every one of it. Tony Stark withdrew his hand indifferently, and immediately wanted to follow Hexie's pace. Just as he raised his foot, Luo Tang's hand rested on his shoulder. Asians, I think our business cooperation will have a good start, what do you think? Tony Stark immediately began to seduce someone when he saw someone stopping him from picking up girls. As the richest man in the world, using money to smash those who stand in his way is his usual method, which has always been tried and tested. People like you, I laid down 16 of them yesterday. Luo Tang curled his lips. To lure him? There are more than $1 billion lying in his account. Want to pick up his girl? Have you figured out what posture to use to fall to the ground? Do you know how cold the prison in New York is? Believe me, it's not beautiful there. Tony Stark's originally laughing face became gloomy and serious. The dignified richest man in the world is actually being threatened by someone. Is it true that he has no temper? Boom. Luo Tang was too lazy to talk nonsense with Tony Stark, and punched him in the stomach. Sudden heavy blow. Tony Stark's reaction was not much better than that of the 16 people yesterday. The cramping pain in his abdomen made it extremely difficult for him to even breathe. He couldn't say a word, so he curled up and fell to the ground. Is there any secret about this model? Hexie's voice came. With jade hands resting on her chin, her eyes were covered with a layer of white light. The space-based system, which has just been built, quickly processed redundant information after replicating the model of the Industrial Expo. Luo Tang walked up to Hexie, recalling the plot of Iron Man 2, and explained. Consider the core as an atom, remove the walkway, landscape, bushes, trees, parking lot, exit, entrance, and use the gazebo as a frame to form protons, neutrons. She nodded, and the space-based system running rapidly in his mind quickly completed the operation. In the calculation result, a brand new high-energy element made her heart skip a beat. Although this kind of high-energy element is not as powerful as the energy they used to build the worm bridge and carry out space travel, it is more gentle and orderly, and can even dissolve in the living body. As long as she is given some time, she can use this element to improve the original angel gene. The power of the female angel will be increased several times, even dozens of times in one fell swoop. Although Hua Yi's army is strong, as long as all the female angels are genetically modified, even if they are outnumbered, they can still win the battle. Can you help you defeat Hua Yi? Luo Teng asked with some uncertainty in his eyes. What if I say no? Hexie's eyes regained their clear azure blue color. Looking at Luo Teng, who was frowning tightly, the corners of her mouth curved slightly. Mysterious, powerful, gentle, considerate, fearless. There is also an attitude of never giving in when facing same-sex rivalry. She had to admit that such a man satisfied all the beautiful imaginations in her heart. For her, there is a fatal attraction. Let's go to Russia first. You can book 2 air tickets online, and the space-based system will handle the passport. There should be no problem, Luo Teng said. No problem, but what if you still can't defeat Hua Yi? She interrupted him and asked again. There are 2 very special places, there are 2 forces that can destroy the universe. Luo Teng paused. If Hulk's genes can't be solved, then you can only hope for Space Gem and Time Gem. Only, one of them is in S.H.I.E.L.D. and the other is in Kamar Taj. Under the infiltration of Hydra, the former has the power to almost shake the world, while the latter is guarded by the powerful Ancient One magician. No matter which one it is, it's big trouble. Your expression tells me that those 2 places are very dangerous, and you don't want to go. She pursed his lips, and the strange color in his eyes became more intense. It's more than dangerous, it's deadly, okay? Are the benefits equal to the risks? It's my grandma's fault. Luo Teng looked at Hexie, who was resting his hands on the model platform, and shook his head, slightly distressed. Are space-based systems powerful? Are angel genes powerful? Powerful. But compared to infinite gems, he is almost losing his pants, and the benefits and risks are completely unequal. Ding, tourist Hexie. The purpose of the trip has been achieved. You can return to the original world at any time, or wait for the expiration of 1 month to return to the original world. Ding. Complete the tourist reception. The host can choose any ability, bloodline, and item from Hexie. Ding. Complete the tourist reception for the first time. Reward selection opportunity +1. Currently there are 2 selection opportunities. 3 consecutive system prompts sounded. Luo Teng looked at Hexie in astonishment. She was also slightly taken aback, and a touching blush flashed across her pretty face. Facing Luo Teng's burning gaze, she shyly turned her cheeks aside. At this time, there was a reminder to complete the purpose of the trip. Didn't it make it clear that she fell in love with the man in front of her? It's so unreserved to give up your heart so simply. She frowned slightly, with a bit of annoyance on her pretty face. Angels are creatures who have no resistance to true love. When someone treats them well regardless of gains and losses, they will easily fall. Luo Teng's heart beat faster, and he mustered up his courage to hold Hexie's soft hand. The tenderness and slipperiness from the palm made him almost unable to restrain himself from screaming up to the sky. He found an angel. He is also one of the future Angel 3 kings, Tianji King. She pursed his lips, but in the end he still couldn't break free from Luo Teng's hand. Damn it. No matter who you are. How dare you break into Stark Industries and commit murder? Prepare to spend your entire life in prison. Just when Luo Teng was about to kiss Fangs and had some further contact with Hexie, Tony Stark's voice came from the desk. After finally recovering from the severe pain, with unconcealable pain and hostility on his face, he slammed down the alarm button on the desk. The security system in the Stark building is extremely robust. The moment the alarm sounded, the security guards in the building rushed into the office. Facing the muzzles of more than a dozen guns, Luo Teng's eyes flashed with dangerous light, and he almost couldn't help throwing Tony Stark off the Stark building. MMP, he was about to kiss Hexie just now. That charming atmosphere was actually broken by this idiot. Looking at the dozen or so pistols around him, Luo Teng took a deep breath, and was about to shoot, but Hexie, who was at the side, spoke first. Tony Stark, right, from beginning to end, you were only right about one thing. Huh. There was some doubt in Tony Stark's eyes, and his playboy nature made him instinctively temporarily suppress the anger in his heart. Really Angel, Shua, behind Jia Baiyu's wings spread. With a playful smile on his eyes face, he glanced at the stunned crowd, hugged Luo Teng's waist tightly, and with a wave of his wings, he flew directly into the sky from the balcony door. Oh, shit. Did you see it? Did you see it? What the hell is that? Tony Stark covered his head with his hands. With a broken expression on his face, he asked the bodyguards in the office frantically. Sir, she said she was Angel. The bodyguard swallowed, with an expression of disbelief on his face. Tony, what just happened? Pepper Potts rushed in from the bodyguards. Oh my god. Potts, I saw Angel. Did you know? I saw Angel. Tony grabbed Potts' shoulders, still unable to recover from the shock. I often dream about God. Potts looked a little embarrassed, and he didn't know how to answer. Compared to Tony seeing Angel, she believes that this guy may have touched something that shouldn't be touched today. After coming out of the Stark building, Hexie took Luo Tang straight up into the sky. With a body that exceeds the limits of the human body, Luo Tang does not feel the slightest discomfort in the severe cold and strong wind at high altitude. There was a moving wave in Hexie's blue eyes. Luo Tang took a deep breath, summoned up his courage, and embraced her in his arms. The Ministry of National Defense, FBI and other departments have become a mess because of the humanoid flight object that suddenly appeared over New York. From the satellite surveillance, they clearly saw Hexie waving his wings. Angel, which only existed in myths and legends, actually came to the world. Still hugging a man flying in the sky? Is there anything crazier than this in this world? The FBI agents gathered in front of the satellite surveillance screen, watching the two people embracing each other emotionally, with deep jealousy in their eyes. Damn it. Can anyone tell me how to get an angel? Give up your heart, you are already 50 years old. Is there no human rights at 50? I will sue you for discriminating against middle-aged people. Old man, shut up. Only I am concerned, how should the Ministry of National Defense explain to the public tomorrow? ZZ, the satellite surveillance of the Ministry of National Defense and the FBI was detected by Hexie just after 2 seconds of detection. The powerful intrusion ability of the space-based system quickly hacked the satellite surveillance over New York. The Ministry of National Defense and the FBI, which were already in a mess, suddenly became even more chaotic. The defense satellite that guards the whole country and monitors the whole world has been hacked? Damn it. How should they explain it to those difficult congressmen? Could it be that, seeing Angel falling in love, did God block all the satellites? It seems that I have caused you some trouble. She leaned on Luo Tang's shoulder, with a blush like the morning glow on her pretty face. Small problem. Luo Tang stroked Hexie's smooth long hair with one hand, completely ignoring the consequences. After completing Hexie's travel list, he directly got 2 chances to choose, and he was able to copy the abilities, bloodlines and items on Hexie. Even if S.H.I.E.L.D. came to him now, he would not be afraid at all. By the way, can't you fly? Hexie looked at Luo Tang suspiciously. Being held by you gives me a sense of accomplishment. After all, my lover is an angel. Luo Tang raised his eyebrows and said something jokingly. With a thought, he ordered the system to copy Hexie's angel gene in his heart. Ding. The matching degree between the female angel gene and the host is low, the gene is automatically improved, and the improvement is complete. A stream of heat poured into the body, spreading across Luo Tang's limbs and bones in an instant. His strength and physique, which had already reached the limit of the human body, soared again, and there was an itching feeling behind him. Shua, a pair of golden wings, slightly larger than Hexie's angel wings, spread out. Under the sun, the shining golden wings made Luo Tang a little more holy and majestic. There was a bit of obsession in Hexie's eyes, and he was instinctively full of closeness and love for the golden wings. She is well aware that this is a natural manifestation of a high genetic match. Wait for me. She had deep reluctance in his eyes. It seemed that he exhausted all his strength to forcefully push Luo Tang away. There was a wave of space ripples behind her, and she flapped her wings and jumped into the space ripples. A high degree of matching at the genetic level, coupled with the mutual attraction of souls. She knew very well that if she stayed any longer, she would never want to leave again. Luo Tang looked at the gradually disappearing space gate, feeling lost in his heart. After staying for a few seconds, he waved his wings and returned to the travel agency in the Manhattan neighborhood. Sitting on an old, used couch and looking at the one remaining opportunity to reproduce. He directly chose to copy Hexie's space-based system. Ding. The space-based system is highly compatible with the host and starts to replicate. The system prompt tone falls. Luo Tang instantly entered the consciousness space. A spherical consciousness formed by the aggregation of countless hexagonal crystal faces, at the moment shone with a faint blue brilliance. Under the mighty power of the system, his conscious body began to arrange and reorganize continuously. Golden threads spread out from the spherical consciousness body, and these threads quickly organized the memories and knowledge in his mind into data files. A moment later, a cold electronic synthesis sound sounded in his head. The space-based system starts to install, rematches the thinking mode, scans its own genetic status, the knowledge reserve is loaded, and the space-based system is turned on. Thump. There was a chord sound like a computer starting up. Luo Tang's vision regained clarity. With the assistance of the space-based system in his mind, he quickly mastered its usage. With a thought, a hazy white light like hexy appeared in his eyes. Space-based system. What is your current computing frequency? Luo Tang asked the space-based system in his heart. The current computing frequency is 8 frequency. Not as good as Ge Shaolun's ambition. Luo Tang scratched his head. If he remembers correctly, Ge Shaolun's core is a 12-frequency supercomputer, and in the coming of the heavens, Hua Yi's black hole engine is 48 frequency. This gap is completely different. The space-based system is a supercomputer built for the basic algorithm. It has the possibility of unlimited upscaling. The core is not yet clear. The black hole engine is an anti-void device. It is speculated that it does not have the possibility of upscaling. The electronic synthesis sounded again. Luo Tang raised his eyebrows, probably understanding the meaning of the space-based system. The space-based system is different from the male core and the black hole engine. In essence, it is a supercomputer, and does not have the void ability that causes the core and black holes to distort reality. But again, as a supercomputer, as long as Luo Tang, who is a CPU motherboard and processor, can continuously improve himself, its ability will become stronger and stronger. Dark energy. Luo Tang muttered to himself. Looking at the travel agency that was still like a leather bag company, he shook his head and stopped thinking about it. Contact a decoration company to renovate the travel agency, and then contact the landlord to buy this place. I have contacted Meichaoju. The company has accepted the online order, and made an appointment for a visit tomorrow morning, and started calling the landlord Stephen ISS. Even save the phone bill. Luo Tang muttered something, put his hand on his right ear, and chatted with the landlord who answered the phone. After some simple communication, under the fierce money offensive, he successfully bought the street house on the upper and lower floors. Although each floor is only more than 50 square meters, the total is only 160 square meters. But for him now, such a small 3-story building is enough. Luo Tang finished everything at hand. Looking at the empty travel agency and the glass Hexy was drinking from on the coffee table, he couldn't help feeling a little sad about parting. Damn chicken. Which long-distance relationship is far away from me? Luo Tang groaned, sank into his mind, and opened the system of Wanji Travel Agency. After Hexy left, the LV1 system already had 50% of the experience points, and the level would increase if he received a tourist again. The visitor list interface, at the moment, has also been refreshed. Tourist list Sasuke Uchiha from the world of Naruto, the upper ninja level Sanguyu writes sharing I ninja. Purpose of travel, to find Uchiha Itachi, D-class tourist. Wu Luki come to the world of Assassin 567, the #1 assassin in the Xuanwu Kingdom before amnesia. Purpose of trip, restoring memory, D-class tourist. Hamsuke come to the world of Overlord Bone King and pet the Bone King Ains Ooal Gong. Purpose of travel, improve strength, D-level tourists. Tasaka Rin from the Fate Holy Grail world, the heir of the Tasaka family, good at gem magic. Purpose of travel, to make money, D-class tourists. Malalan from the world of Detective Conan, champion of Kanto karate competition, travel purpose, to find Kudo Shinichi, E-class tourist. System, you are poisonous. Luo Tang glanced at the information on the tourist list, and his eyebrows almost twitched. Not to mention the Urzuzi, there is a boy in the 2nd year of middle school. Even if he can complete the other party's travel purpose, he doesn't bother to look at the other party's stinky face. Wu Luki is even more unique, an extremely unreliable assassin. Luo Tang doesn't want to turn his travel agency into a mess. As for Hamsuke, Nima, this is a giant hamster monster. Has the Wanji travel agency system even accepted orders for non-human beings? This is forcing me to choose legs to play a year. Luo Tang had a tangled expression on his face. For him, only D-level tourists and E-level tourists are useful, and there is no benefit at all. Among the limited number of D-level tourists, only Tasaka Rin, who is known as the leg playing year, is more reliable. The purpose of the trip is very easy to complete, not to mention, the character is also in the past. Originally, he was just thinking about picking up a travel order, which would relieve the disappointment caused by the long-distance relationship to some extent. But to get the leg playing year over, no matter how you look at it, it seems that the purpose is not pure. Forget it. Let it be her. Luo Tang rubbed between his brows. In line with the idea of adding some popularity to the travel agency, he accepted Tasaka Rin's travel order. Ripples appeared again like water waves at the gate of the travel agency. Rin Tasaka, who was carrying a Japanese school bag, walked out of the gate with a calm face. The double ponytails are loose behind her, and the red top and black skirt complement each other perfectly. The legs wrapped in black stockings looked tight and slender, magnifying their own advantages several times in invisible. Luo Tang nodded secretly. From the perspective of dressing, this little girl who is only 16 or 17 years old knows how to use her own advantages. My name is Rin Tosaka. It's our first time meeting. Please take care of me. Rin Tosaka bowed at 90 degrees when he came up. In terms of etiquette, she was impeccable. It's just that the slightly trembling pupils showed that her heart was not as calm as her appearance. Well, my name is Luo Tang. Please take care of me. Luo Tang nodded and pointed to the sofa with one hand, motioning for the other party to sit down and talk. Rin Tosaka glanced at the ripples that dissipated behind his eyes, took a deep breath, and walked to the side of the sofa to sit down. Excuse me, Mr. Luo Tang, the one just now, is it magic, or magic? Well, beyond the category of magic and magic, that is something of a higher level. It's really amazing. Rin Tosaka swallowed hard, with a look of shock on his face. The power level of the Fate Holy Grail world is mainly supported by servants and treasures. As a magician, Rin Tosaka is much more knowledgeable than ordinary people, but he is far less receptive than the knowledgeable Hexi. After a few minutes of delay, she accepted the reality in front of her. Excuse me, Mr. Luo Tang, how much can I get paid for a month's work? Rin Tosaka spoke with a bit of trepidation. Facing a big demon magician who is many times stronger than her, she really has no confidence in her heart. As for the reward, how about 10 kilograms of gold? After thinking for a while, Luo Tang proposed a reward that he thought was more reasonable. The currency of the Fate Holy Grail world is obviously not the same as the currency of the Marvel world. However, gold is a hard currency in any world. 10 kilograms of gold, calculated according to today's gold price, is only $450,000. For him, who has a net worth of over $1 billion, it's just a drizzle. 10 kilograms? Tosaka Rin's jaw almost dropped to the ground. This is the first time she heard that gold is measured in kilograms. Silently counting how many yen can be exchanged for 10 kilograms of gold with her fingers, and how many magic gems she bought, the light of money was shining in her eyes, and she quickly began to ask. Mr. Luo Tang, what about my work? Well, for the time being, let's clean the room and receive guests by the way. By the way, can you cook? I'm better at Chinese cuisine. Then it's up to you to cook. Luo Tang unceremoniously threw all the chores such as cooking, cleaning, and welcoming guests to Tosaka Rin. Just kidding. $450,000 a month for a nanny. Even in New York, where every inch of land is expensive, it can attract countless people to grab their heads, okay? If the little girls in New York knew there was such a good job, they'd be willing to do anything crazy. Okay. Mr. Luo Tang. Tosaka Rin responded without thinking, and quickly entered the working state. After cleaning the travel agency, even the glass windows are spotless. The landlord who contacted Luo Tang earlier also came to the travel agency with a lawyer and a real estate agent. After signing the real estate transfer contract and completing the fund transfer, the landlord also took out all the keys of the upper and lower floors. Rin Tosaka, with a towel wrapped around his head, held a mop and rag in his hand, and quickly started cleaning the rooms on the second and third floors. The second floor of the travel agency was originally a painting studio. After the studio failed to manage and closed down, it remained vacant for a long time and was never rented out. After a little cleaning, it became an empty activity room. The third floor of the travel agency is a simple 2-bedroom, 1 living room, 1 kitchen and 1 bathroom, which basically meets the needs of daily life. After ordering a batch of daily necessities online, Luo Tang settled down on the third floor. The current LV1 level system can only receive 1 visitor at a time. With Tosaka Rin here, unless Luo Tang gives her 10 kilograms of gold and asks her to leave immediately. Otherwise, she would have to work for a full month before returning to the world of the Holy Grail of Fate. *********8 o'clock the next morning. Before the designers from Meichaoju Decoration Company came to the door, the people from S.H.I.E.L.D. came first. Rin Tosaka, who opened the door, saw 8 agents in uniform black suits and big sunglasses at the door, and a trace of vigilance flashed in his eyes. This kind of attire doesn't look like a good person no matter what. Travel? Good morning, gentlemen, are you going to travel in a group? The leader, Phil Coulson, was stunned by the sudden Japanese. As a high-level agent, he has intensively studied German, French, Russian, Italian and other languages, but he has never learned Japanese. Facing Rin Tosaka's sudden greeting in Japanese, he could only say that he couldn't understand at all. Okay. Besides, didn't they come to find Angel? What the hell is a little Japanese girl coming out? Although this little girl is equally beautiful and outrageous, she is far from the angel in the information no matter how you look at it. Can you speak English? Phil Coulson's cheeks twitched slightly. "I can't," Tasaka Rin said with a smile. With the hands behind his back, he quietly held a few magic gems. If the situation is not right, he will shoot at any time. "Hey, girl, such a game is not fun at all." Phil Coulson smiled wryly. He had never seen such a naughty little girl. Taking out the id from his suit pocket, he shook it slightly, and then said, "I'm a high-level agent from the Strategic Homeland Defense Offensive and Logistics Support Agency. Phil Coulson, is Luo Tang there?" "Rin, don't scare our friends," Luo Tang said while lying on the railing of the stairs. Zero, who was already preparing to do something, heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Luo Tang's voice. The magic gem in her hand was also quietly put into her pocket. "Detective Phil Coulson, what can I do?" Luo Tang looked at Phil Coulson with great interest. He doesn't have any ill feelings for Phil Coulson, the good old man in the original book. As an ordinary person, being able to work unswervingly on the front line of protecting the people is a rare quality. Phil Coulson looked at Rin Tasaka in surprise when he heard Luo Tang's words. Under normal circumstances, shouldn't they scare the little girl? Why would the other party scare them? The quality of a professional agent made Phil Coulson suppress the doubts in his heart. With a professional smile on his face, he waved to the several agents behind him. Several agents turned and left without saying a word, mixed into the crowd, and disappeared into the street. Stepping into the travel agency, Phil Coulson sat on the old sofa in the lobby familiarly. "Mr. Luo Tang, can you cooperate with me to do some investigation?" "Definitely." Luo Tang shrugged and walked downstairs. Tasaka Rin, who took on the role of nanny, took the initiative to bring him breakfast. Chinese-style millet porridge, plus 2 refreshing side dishes. Although Tasaka Rin's cooking skills are not as good as Michelin chefs, he has a warm family feeling. Phil Coulson looked at Rin Tasaka eagerly. He is a guest after all. "Don't give me breakfast, at least give me a glass of water, right?" "What do you want to ask?" Luo Tang asked Phil Coulson casually while drinking hot porridge. "Ahem. Mr. Luo Tang, the day before yesterday your account suddenly had more than $1 billion, right?" Phil Coulson coughed lightly, throwing out the random thoughts in his mind. "Yes, the financial market makes money, is there a problem?" "No. The day before yesterday, you went shopping with a beautiful lady and beat up 16 people? They harassed my girlfriend. Yesterday morning, you beat Tony Stark down again, didn't you? The reason is the same as above. As that mysterious lady with white wings mutant? She is an angel from the angel civilization, and she is not the same thing as a genetically mutated mutant." Luo Tang drank the millet porridge, not denying it at all. "The monitoring satellites captured all the pictures yesterday, and if we try to hide it, it will only increase the trouble. It's better to show some strength appropriately, and make S.H.I.E.L.D. more stable." "Angel civilization? Aliens? You and her. My girlfriend, are you envious?" Luo Tang raised his eyebrows and asked back with a smile. Phil Coulson has a black line on his forehead. From a man's point of view, he is naturally very envious. But this topic has gone astray. Didi, the communication watch in Phil Coulson's hand rang twice. Pressing on the Bluetooth headset with one hand, he connected his phone. A few seconds later, he looked at Rin Tasaka who was quietly listening to the conversation between the two, and spoke again. "This little girl doesn't seem to have a legal identity, and she doesn't even have any traces of living on Earth." "Wait." Luo Tang's eyes were covered with a hazy white light. Under the power of the space-based system, which is far superior to the Earth's technology, Tasaka Rin's relevant household registration and various procedures were quickly processed. Now she has. In just a few seconds, Luo Tang's eyes regained clarity, and he said something to Phil Coulson with a chuckle. Didi, confused, Phil Coulson picked up the communicator again. He was shocked when he heard the report from his subordinate on the other end of the phone. The record that just showed, "no such person," appeared in an instant. It ranges from household registration in island countries, proof of going abroad, to hospital birth records more than 10 years ago, school records, hospital cases. How can that be? Phil Coulson's heart was full of turmoil, and he looked at Luo Tang with full of fear. "Mr. Luo Tang, can you tell me how you did it?" "It's very simple, like this." Luo Tang blew on the rice porridge in the bowl, raised his eyes, and looked at Phil Coulson. The black pupils were shrouded in white light, and Phil Coulson's message instantly appeared in front of his eyes. Buzz, 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 in Phil Coulson's pocket, the cell phone he uses for everyday life vibrates. The bank receipt text messages one after another made his pupils constrict. The agent's identity information, bank card and other information are confidential information that require extremely high authority to view. Does his at the moment text message mean that his information has been leaked? In other words, Shield's agent doesn't have any secrets in front of Luo Tang? I just want to open a small shop quietly like before, Phil Coulson agent. Luo Tang smiled, put the bowl and chopsticks aside, and looked at Phil Coulson seriously. After brightening up the muscles, make an appropriate statement. He believes that Phil Coulson will make the right choice. Who? Mr. Luo Tang, I understand. Phil Coulson nodded and got up to leave. By the way, if you're under surveillance, don't come if you're not a beautiful woman. It will affect my business. Luo Tang thought for a while and made another request. There was no way Shield could leave him alone. Even if he expressed his attitude, Shield still has many secrets that he wants to know. For example, Angel civilization. I will report your request to my superiors. Phil Coulson's cheeks twitched slightly, and after saying goodbye, he left the travel agency. He had calculated thousands of times, but he never expected that this contact would end in this way. Moreover, send a beautiful agent to monitor? Also TM business? Damn business. In this broken place, will anyone come besides him? Shield headquarters. High-level agent Hawkeye Clinton Francis Barton, Black Widow Natasha Romanoff, Phil Coulson, and director Nick Fury gathered together. After listening to Phil Coulson's report, director Nick Fury frowned and remained silent. Instead, Hawkeye nudged Phil Coulson and whispered, "How much did he transfer you?" 10 million. Phil Coulson replied wordlessly. Oh, damn it, why not me to complete the task? Hawkeye, who has always been poor financially, has a tangled expression on his face. $10 million. If this was given to him, he could even buy a mansion in New York. Get drunk and ride the most beautiful girl. You can go next too, Phil Coulson said angrily. Doesn't he only want beautiful women? Sex reassignment surgery is not expensive. F*K. Hawkeye angrily stabbed Phil Coulson with an elbow. What he said just now is definitely contemptuous of his dignity as a man. Agent Romanov. Why don't you go? Nick Fury thought for a long time before speaking. The other party probably knows my identity. Natasha Romanoff frowned. Then you don't have to hide your identity. Yes. Natasha Romanoff stepped out of the office after receiving the latest task. Hawkeye raised his eyebrows with a bit of envy on his face. Sometimes, being a woman and being a beautiful woman really takes advantage of everything. Phil Coulson agent, the windfall from this mission. Turn it over to the General Administration's treasury. After finishing the task, Nick Fury turned to Phil Coulson and said something. Ah. Yes. Calzer shrugged his shoulders boredly, and Hawkeye beside him couldn't help but gloated. After Nick Fury let the two leave, he sat quietly behind his desk and thought. He originally thought that it was Angel who was in trouble for this incident. Unexpectedly, Luo Tang is also a trouble. Even the little girl named Tasaka Rin next to her is not like an ordinary person. More and more extraordinary powers appeared in this world, faintly giving him a bad premonition. ******** On the third floor of the travel agency, Luo Tang was lying on the sofa, watching the soap operas of American Emperor in boredom. In the kitchen, Rin Tasaka handled the ingredients with a kitchen knife, with the attitude of a professional cook. After the people from S.H.I.E.L.D. left in the morning, the people from Meichaoju Decoration Company came to the door. With sufficient funds, a set of decoration design was simply selected, and the decoration and construction of the first and second floors began quickly. The following news will be temporarily interrupted. Just now, Mr. Tony Stark, the richest man in the world, was attacked by terrorists during a weapon demonstration exercise with the military, and his whereabouts are unknown. Has the plot already started? Luo Tang muttered. He didn't have much affection for Iron Man Tony Stark. Not to mention anything else, just because the other party wants to pick on Hexy, he can diss the other party for 100 years. Mr. Luo Tang, in the afternoon, can I take 2 hours off? Tasaka Rin poked his head out of the kitchen while cutting vegetables. For her who didn't know Tony Stark, the news on TV just now had no effect on her. Huh? What are you doing on leave? Luo Tang asked curiously. In this world, Rin Tasaka does not know anyone except him, so what's the use of asking for leave? Shop? With this little girl's character of being a money fan, any items that cost money have nothing to do with her, okay? My jewel magic, I felt a few powerful magical auras. This aura is very special. I want to go and see it. Don't worry, Mr. Luo Tang, I won't cause you any trouble. Rin Tasaka hesitated, but chose to tell the truth. How many breaths did you feel? Luo Tang was startled and asked a question quickly. 3. 3 paths, one is far away, one is relatively close, and the other is very vague, with intermittent breath. I'll go. Is gem magic so amazing? There was a bit of surprise in Luo Tang's eyes. The breath that Tasaka Rin felt, he knew what it was without guessing, Infinite gems. Currently, 3 gems may exist on Earth. The first one, Space Gem, should be kept in the headquarters of S.H.I.E.L.D., not far from Manhattan. The second gem, Time Gem, is kept in Kamar Taj, which is in the Tibetan area, separated by the entire Pacific Ocean. The third one, Reality Gem, is Thai Particles. The intermittent breath that Tasaka Rin felt should be the breath of Reality Gem. Strictly speaking, Reality Gems are not on Earth, after all. It's just because it's approaching the period of Juxing Lianju, and the space is unstable, so it will show its breath from time to time. Quick, quick. How to eat, I will go with you after dinner. Luo Tang sat up from the sofa with an excited face. Time Gem is not considered for the time being. Sorcerer Supreme Ancient One is here, it is impossible for him to get involved. As for the Space Gem, he doesn't want to quarrel with S.H.I.E.L.D. for the time being, and there's no need to force it. But the Reality Gem, he took it, who knows? In the original, Jane Foster got the Reality Gem, and Odin didn't even see it. The originally exquisite 4 dishes and 1 soup, in order to save time, turned into a messy stew. After eating lunch indiscriminately, Luo Tang took Tasaka Rin out. Reality Gem, while powerful, is also extremely dangerous. Regardless of whether Luo Tang can use its power or not, he doesn't want that purple sweet potato of Thanos to get it. After all, right now, the Infinity Gauntlet was no small threat to him. Even if you stay in a travel agency, you can survive under the protection of the system. But it was not his style to hide like a turtle in a travel agency. No way. Doesn't your gem magic come from your magic characteristics? How could it be possible to perceive other gems? Sitting in the taxi, Luo Tang looked at Rin Tasaka, who directed the driver to change lanes, and asked a question belatedly. Tasaka Rin's expression changed slightly. Pretending to be natural, he said, maybe it's because of the long-term use of gem magic. Luo Tang rolled his eyes, and with a thought, his eyes were covered with a layer of white light. Space-based system. Analyze Tasaka Rin's behavior, and determine how it sensed infinite gems. The analysis begins. Tasaka Rin, the magic characteristic conversion, is a special dark energy conversion algorithm, and does not have induction characteristics. According to the analysis of body and behavior patterns, the other party deliberately concealed the jewelry worn in front of him, and the dark energy scanning was turned on, and the other party wore special energy jewelry in front of him. According to the information in the database, it is speculated that the accessory is Magic Dress Gem Pendant. The analysis algorithm shows that there is an 80% possibility that the gemstone pendant has produced a special energy resonance with infinite gems. Space-based systems never disappoint. Luo Tang looked at the ruby pendant stuffed in Rin Tasaka's collar, and continued to ask. Can you analyze this energy? Trying to parsing progress 1%, 2%. Rin Tasaka looked at Luo Tang's gaze staring straight at her collar, his cheeks turned red instantly, and he quickly covered the collar with his hands. The analysis of the space-based system, under this cover, instantly slowed down a lot. Mr. Luo Tang, it's extremely rude to stare at a girl. Rin Tasaka had a bit of embarrassment on his face, and his big sapphire eyes were full of defense. The black driver who was driving heard this and patted the center console with his hands. Hey man, I have to remind you that the sentence for rape is heavy. Also, the bastards in the prison like you the most for women. They will treat your ass tenderly. Dude. If you keep chatting like this, I promise to stuff your head into your asshole. Luo Tang scolded the black driver with a black line on his face. What the hell? What he was looking at was a gemstone pendant, okay. Moreover, it's just a poached egg, it looks good with wool. Oh shit. You're threatening me. I feel like I should take you to the police station. The black driver yelled exaggeratedly. Seeing the chattering black driver, Tasaka Rin showed a somewhat proud expression on his small face that he had succeeded in a prank. However, this complacency didn't last for 2 seconds before it froze on his face. Crunch. Luo Tang twisted the safety barriers of the front and rear rows of the taxi into twists with both hands. He patted the black driver on the shoulder and said with a sullen face, "Shut up, or you'll understand." The black driver was sweating coldly on his forehead, and nodded vigorously in a hurry. His guardrail is made of welded steel bars. Twist the guardrail into a twist. Is this the strength that a normal person should have? Show me your necklace. Luo Tang looked at Rin Tasaka with a kind smile on his face. Can I say no? Cannot. That one glance at $10,000? Can. Based on the idea that people have to bow their heads under the eaves, Rin Tasaka took off the gemstone necklace around his neck. This ruby necklace is a relic of her father, and it contains the magic power of the successive heads of the Tasaka family. With this magical power, it can even bring back to life those who are still alive. Luo Tang stared at the ruby. The space-based system in his body quickly analyzed its energy composition and magic circuit. From the scientific point of view of the super seminary world, magic is actually the use of dark energy under a specific calculation method. In less than 3 minutes, the space-based system analyzed this gem. Luo Tang casually threw the gemstone necklace to Rin Tasaka. The little girl put the necklace back on carefully. She almost thought she was going to lose her father's relic just now. I will give you an extra $10,000 at the end of the month, Luo Tang said casually. Are you granted? It's only 10,000 US dollars after looking at it for so long? After Tasaka Rin relaxed, his nature of money fan suddenly burst out. Rin-chan, you also know granted? Please don't change the subject, Mr. Luo Tang. Oh, did you see that I blinked just now? You vicious exploiter. Rin Tasaka recalled the scene where Luo Tang was staring at the gemstone necklace just now. His little face was full of dissatisfaction. Luo Tang smiled without saying a word, and once again instructed the space-based system in his heart. Simulate the magic circuit of the gemstone necklace. Simulation started. Resonant energy source found. Powerful magic wave, emanating from Luo Tang. The strong wind formed by the magic vortex swept through the taxi, almost scaring the black boy to pee his pants. Tasaka Rin's body was stiff, and her small face was full of fear. As a magician, she feels more deeply than the black driver brother. She had never felt that kind of magic wave so powerful that it made her soul tremble. There are 3 locations of the resonance energy source. The nearest resonance energy source is located 13 kilometers away, an abandoned factory, and the navigation mode is turned on. The voice of the space-based system came. Before Luo Tang's eyes, a detailed navigation route map appeared. Directing the black brother to turn around on the streets of New York, after more than 10 minutes, they arrived at the abandoned factory. After the two got out of the car, the little black brother kicked the accelerator and ran away without a trace. Rin Tasaka stared at Luo Tang's back, obviously not yet recovered from the shock. Although when she came to this world, she had suspected that Luo Tang possesses power far beyond that of an ordinary big magician. But is this power too strong? It's not that I didn't pay. What are you doing so fast? Luo Tang glanced at the taxi that was fleeing at a high speed, and turned to Rin Tasaka. Rin-chan, don't be in a daze, let's go in. Huh? Oh. Rin Tasaka responded in a daze, and followed closely behind Luo Tang. The 9 stars in the Marvel world is the plot that appeared in Thor 2, The Dark World. Because of the proximity to 9 stars, there was a spatial disorder in this factory. In order to find Thor, Jane Foster accidentally broke into the chaotic space and was possessed by Reality Gem. Although judging from the timeline, there are still 3 years before their original plot. But 9 stars Lianju, who knows how many years it will happen once. Luo Tang would not be surprised if the spatial disorder appeared 10 years earlier. Warning. The wormhole structure at this location is disordered, whether to perform wormhole calculations. Nonsense, count quickly. Luo Tang heard the siren of the space-based system, and said something speechless. A large amount of calculation data flashed across the eyes, and the subtle wormhole fluctuations manifested the light effect of the data. Bypassing some irregular space wormholes, Luo Tang took Tasaka Rin to the corridor on the 3rd floor of the factory. Looking at the red space wormhole marked by the space-based system, which only has the file size of the head, and also appears and disappears from time to time, he narrowed his eyes slightly and said, "Perform space wormhole calculations and expand the wormhole. Start the calculation. The space wormhole is too far away, please wait patiently. Build a stable structure of the wormhole, molecular reorganization, dark energy replenishment." A feeling of energy being pulled away came from the body. Luo Tang curled his lips. Clearly, he was still too weak. If he had the physique of Liang Bing, even if he didn't have the space-time gene, the distance would be far away, but he could fully open the wormhole in a few seconds. Who are you talking to? What's here? Tasaka Rin blinked, looking suspiciously at the empty corridor where Luo Tang was staring. As soon as her words fell, a trace of blue water waves visible to the naked eye began to spread slowly. It took more than 20 minutes for the space-based system to construct a space wormhole for Luo Tang to travel with. Ignoring the fatigue from his body, Luo Tang pulled Tasaka Rin into the wormhole. Wow! The scene in front of me suddenly changed. The originally bright corridor turned into a dark underground space. Not far away, under the stone pillar engraved with the ancient god pattern of Eskard, there is a faint red light flowing. Good. So scary. Tasaka Rin's body trembled slightly, and he almost couldn't help turning around and running away. After all, she is only a girl in her teens. After feeling the power of Reality Gem, it is difficult for her to suppress the fear in her heart. Space-based system. Start parsing reality gem. Luo Tang stood not far from the stone pillar, his eyes were shining white, and he was fully operating the space-based system. Starting parsing reality gem. Database simulation started. 0.1%, 0.2%, 0.60%, analysis error, data confusion, discovery of unknown energy, reconstruction of atomic form, analysis again. 0.83%, the analysis error, falling into a logical endless loop, the current database, unable to complete the analysis of reality gem energy. Trouble. Luo Tang muttered. Originally, he thought that if he could analyze the reality gem through the space-based system, he would immediately get a killer trick. Who knew it was a thing that could not be used temporarily? Shaking his head slightly, Luo Tang walked towards the stone pillar, and put his hand directly under the stone pillar. The reality gem, which has no fixed form, shone with scarlet luster, and instantly wrapped around his arm, trying to occupy his body. Swish. The weird spatial fluctuations disappeared in a flash, and the reality gem was directly taken into the system warehouse by Luo Tang. Warehouse. The system of Wanji Travel Agency is attached when the system is activated. For him, the system warehouse is much more reliable than space transfer technology such as Kesha Armory. After all, the space-based system is just a supercomputer he harvested after completing the travel reception. And the Wanji Travel Agency system is his strongest gold finger. The space where the reality gem was sealed became pitch black after losing the red glow of the reality gem. This kind of environment that should have made people flustered made Rin Tasaka heave a sigh of relief. The feeling of standing in front of that powerful wave of magic power was more terrifying to her than having her stand next to a nuclear bomb. Just now. What was that? Children, don't ask so many questions. Luo Tang replied casually, and started to build the space wormhole back again. I'm not a child anymore, and, besides, I think you used me. Tasaka Rin pouted dissatisfiedly. So? Teach me your magic, okay. Tasaka Rin's eyes were shining brightly, even in the dark environment. The little girl's pupils were frighteningly bright. After seeing all kinds of magic of Luo Tang, how could she not be moved? Okay. Luo Tang responded with a smile. He was worried that he couldn't find all the benefits of Tasaka Rin at once. The little girl delivered it to the door by herself. How could he not keep it? More than an hour later, Luo Tang took Tasaka Rin back to the travel agency in the Manhattan neighborhood. Less than 10 minutes after sitting down, the decorator of Meichaoju called downstairs for a visitor. Natasha Romanoff, wearing an office uniform, swayed up to the third floor. The exquisite tunic skirt outlined her figure exquisitely, and the black high heels carried a criminal aura. Compared with Tasaka Rin, she is a little less immature as a girl, but a little more mature and charming that makes a man's adrenaline surge. This kind of woman is the easiest to arouse a man's desire to conquer. Mr. Luo, am I considered a beauty? Natasha Romanoff greeted with a confident smile on her face. I'll give you an 8. Luo Tang looked at Natasha Romanoff's figure without hesitation. 3 points of appearance, 5 duplications, Natasha Romanoff does have proud capital. You actually like this kind of woman. Tasaka Rin looked at Natasha Romanoff, who deliberately puffed up her chest, and labeled her as a vixen in her heart. Girl, you're still young. Natasha Romanoff glanced at Rin Tasaka's poached egg, and said something pointed. Better than a vixen. Little girl, didn't your parents teach you how to respect others? Do you want to fight? I don't mind teaching you a lesson for your parents. Whoever teaches who is not sure. Luo Tang looked at the two girls who had pinched up within 5 seconds, and rolled his eyes speechlessly. Natasha Romanoff's American humor is not acceptable to everyone. You are still young, directly stabbed Tasaka Rin's self-esteem, and the little girl was naturally not to be outdone. Perhaps it was a deliberate attempt, but instead of changing the subject, Natasha Romanoff continued to stimulate her with words. However, parents are Tasaka Rin's deathbed. The famous Black Widow is in trouble today. The second floor is very empty. Luo Tang pointed to the stairs, not intending to stop the two of them at all. One of the two wants to vent their anger, and the other wants to test, so just fight. With him around, there will be no deaths after all, right? Tang Jun, thank you. Tasaka Rin bowed to Luo Tang, and the address was obviously much closer than before. You're welcome, by the way, don't use magic. Okay. Rin Tasaka nodded, hooked his fingers at Natasha Romanoff politely, and turned to walk to the second floor. Natasha Romanoff blinked, seeming to suspect that she had heard wrong. Magic? What magic? Is that kind of deceitful thing? Do not. Probably not, most likely, the so-called magic is the extraordinary power they have been investigating. If you speculate like this, the girl in front of you is probably not an ordinary person. With a serious expression on his face, Natasha Romanoff walked down the second floor, looked at Rin Tasaka, who was already in a fighting posture, barely suppressed the shock in his heart, and took it seriously. Tasaka Rin has learned Bajikwan from his senior brother Kirei, and with the support of the magic power in his body, his close combat ability is not weak. As for Natasha Romanoff, not only has her body transformed, but she is also proficient in various fighting skills, and has experienced hundreds of battles. Facing Rin Tasaka, who has no actual combat experience, she has the upper hand in the first confrontation. It's just that the little girl is supported by magical power, and her strength is much stronger than hers, so she can't find a chance to win the game at all. Boom. 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 The sound of fists clashing kept ringing. Luo Tang was lying on the railing of the stairs and eating melon seeds with great interest. Two beauties, one big and one small, are fighting. It's pleasing to the eye. It's totally an otaku yuri. Ahem, I'm sorry to interrupt your friendly communication. Just as Natasha Romanoff and Tasaka Rin were in contact with each other, the Black Stewed Egg director, Nick Fury, came up from the first floor. The director is here, it's something. Luo Tang smiled and shook hands with Nick Fury. Nick Fury was called out, without any surprise on his face. After shrugging his shoulders, he laughed at himself and said, "There is indeed something that needs Mr. Luo's help. Find Tony Stark for you guys." Yes. Although that guy is a jerk, the Ministry of Defense reacted greatly. Your temptations are really one after another, Rin-chan. I allow you to use magic. Rin Tasaka heard what Luo Tang said, and pushed Natasha Romanoff away with an iron push. After pulling away to a safe distance, he raised the index finger of his left hand, raised his chin slightly, and showed a hint of arrogance on his face. Gander Yin Chi Bomb. Biu. 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 The black light condensed on Rin Tasaka's index finger turned into a magic bullet, and went straight to Natasha Romanoff with a super-fast speed comparable to modern thermal weapons. The cold-haired Natasha Romanoff rolled over in embarrassment, barely dodged a few Yin Chi bullets, and was hit instantly. Rin Tasaka's Yin Chi bullet has a rate of fire comparable to a machine gun. How could Natasha Romanoff be able to block such a small and unobstructed space? Throat. With a groan, Natasha Romanoff fell to the floor. Her limbs and abdomen were hit hard by Yin Chi bullets. Although relying on her physical fitness far beyond ordinary people, there was no blood hole pierced through, but the severe damage to her muscles and bones made her no longer able to resist. Tasaka Rin put away his fingers, like a blowgun, and blew in front of his fingertips. For Natasha Romanoff, she did not commit a murder, and killing is still a very distant thing for her at present. With a bit of impatience in Luo Tang's eyes, he stared at the dignified Nick Fury. For the first test, the other party sent Phil Coulson agent. While he showed his strength, he also expressed his friendliness. For the second test, the other party sent Natasha Romanoff. His attitude is also considered friendly, as long as it doesn't disturb his life. He even takes the initiative to disclose some information to the other party. As a result, before the second test was over, S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury came to test again. Tony Stark is missing, and the Department of Defense has a hairy relationship. The other party didn't go missing in the country. The Ministry of National Defense was out of their minds, so they came to take care of this mess. As for S.H.I.E.L.D., Tony Stark isn't Iron Man yet, and S.H.I.E.L.D. cares about such crap every day. Totally outside their remit. Okay. Nick Fury said this. One is to test whether Luo Tang has mastered the technology beyond the Earth's technology. Second, if this technology exists, he wants to get it in his hands. Luo Tang didn't want to have conflicts with S.H.I.E.L.D. because he didn't want to be unable to even go shopping. What's more, he didn't want the travel agency to be surrounded by more than a dozen agents every day, so that he couldn't even complete the tasks of the Wanji travel agency system properly. Not because he's scared of S.H.I.E.L.D. When facing a force you can't provoke, be sensible, otherwise. Luo Tang patted Nick Fury on the shoulder. Otherwise. Nick Fury frowned. You'll know right away. Luo Tang whispered something in his ear. The eyes were covered with a layer of white light, and the space-based system quickly invaded the weapon launch pad of the Ministry of Defense and several military bases. Countless weapon launch systems were activated and aimed at the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters in unison. Dee-dee, dee-dee, dee-dee. In just 10 seconds, Nick Fury's communicator sounded a hasty siren. Director. The Ministry of Defense has been invaded. 3 nuclear bombs. Tens of thousands of missiles have locked onto the headquarters. They will be launched en masse in 5 minutes. The systems of the Ministry of Defense are completely out of control. Our defense systems have also completely failed. An urgent report came from Nick Fury's Bluetooth headset. Fear caused the members of S.H.I.E.L.D. who reported the situation to cry heavily. 3 nuclear bombs, tens of thousands of missiles. If it falls, let alone S.H.I.E.L.D., even New York will be reduced to ruins. Are you going to make an enemy of the world? Nick Fury said angrily. The existence of Luo Teng is too terrifying for him. The Ministry of National Defense of the United States claims to be the military organization with the highest security level in the world, but their missile system has completely become the opponent's weapon. What can the world do to me? Luo Teng smiled. His body, after taking the body-strengthening potion, has already become an existence comparable to Captain America. After copying Hexy's angel gene, he surpassed the level of a generation of genetic warriors. Although it may not be comparable to the second-generation genetic warrior, but with the analysis of the magical energy in the gem necklace, ordinary hot weapons can't kill him at all. Not afraid of assassination, not afraid of poisoning, how many people on the earth at this stage can do nothing to him? Nick Fury's face was blue and purple. After a moment of silence, he honestly began to apologize. Please forgive our ignorance. I will remove all agents immediately, and no one will disturb your life in the future. Talking to a smart person is peace of mind. Luo Teng spoke with a smile, that harmless appearance, just like the sunny boy next door. The countdown to missile launches at the Ministry of Defense and military bases was quickly cancelled, and Nick Fury was also informed that the crisis was over. Natasha Romanoff, let's go, Nick Fury said in a deep voice. Natasha Romanoff struggled to her feet with a nearly broken bone. Natasha Romanoff, I don't have a front desk in my store, are you interested? Luo Teng's voice came. Natasha Romanoff was taken aback for a moment, then looked to Nick Fury at the side. After she nodded, Natasha Romanoff forced a smile and said, it's an honor to be an employee of World Travel Agency. Rin, treat Natasha Romanoff. Luo Teng said to Tasaka Rin after watching Nick Fury leave. Tasaka Rin hesitated to speak. Natasha Romanoff, please apologize to Rin, she lost her parents when she was very young. Luo Teng looked at Natasha Romanoff. Natasha Romanoff was taken aback for a moment, a flash of amazement flashed in her eyes. When she mentioned Tasaka Rin's parents before, she had thought about why the other party had such a big reaction. It's just that she didn't expect that this girl was actually an orphan. I'm sorry for touching your heartache. I apologize for my inappropriate words and deeds just now. Please forgive me. Natasha Romanoff's quick apology stunned Tasaka Rin. Although in daily life, Tasaka Rin is a bit of a money fanatic, when he speaks, he often has the indifference of being thousands of miles away. But in essence, she is a simple and kind little girl. No need to apologize, I scolded you anyway. Tasaka Rin turned his cheeks aside awkwardly, paused, and then said. I'll treat you, but I'm only responsible for hurting you, so don't think too much about it. What a dishonest character. Natasha Romanoff almost couldn't help laughing. She has already seen countless people, how can she not see Rin Tasaka's duplicity? This girl who is proficient in fighting skills and proficient in magic has a character as cute as her appearance. Luo Teng saw the kung fu of a few words, and the two women who got along well, sighed at the fickleness of women, turned around and went up to the 3rd floor. He kept Natasha Romanoff here for 3 main reasons. First, it's to save S.H.I.E.L.D. some face and not make Nick Fury sleepless. Second, let Natasha Romanoff be the bridge between him and S.H.I.E.L.D. to help him avoid some trivial troubles in life. Third, he wants Tesseract, the space gem. To put it more bluntly, Luo Teng's behavior is to properly handle the relationship between the two parties and get what they need through harmonious diplomatic means. To put it bluntly, it means being a whore and setting up a memorial archway. For him, being a popular angel is better than being a hated and feared devil. The magic damage suffered by Natasha Romanoff has been healed by 50% after simple magic power channeling. The remaining 50% comes from bone and muscle injuries, which can be healed in a few days based on his constitution. Tang Jun, can you teach me magic? Tasaka Rin entangled Luo Teng again after dealing with Natasha Romanoff's injury. Natasha Romanoff glanced at Luo Teng in surprise, then walked into the kitchen knowingly. As a professional agent, this sentence alone contains a lot of information for her. Definitely, but I don't know much about magic and magic in your world. You still need to teach me a class and let me analyze your system before I can convert my knowledge into something you can understand. Luo Teng nodded, not avoiding Natasha Romanoff's thoughts at all. One of the reasons why he kept Natasha Romanoff here was to let the other party know a little more and save him some trouble. Then let me start with the basic magic principles and circuits. Tasaka Rin did not doubt him, and immediately talked about the magic knowledge she knew. Luo Teng listened carefully to Rin Tasaka's words, and the space-based system also quickly collected and analyzed relevant knowledge. The principle of magic, under the analysis of the space-based system, belongs to the way of using the special energy of the universe. The magic circuits, magic circles, spells, and engravings are calculation equations. Through the combination of different equations to achieve the purpose of using different magic. As for the different magical characteristics that each person possesses, under the analysis of the space-based system, it belongs to the subtle influence of the genetic level on special energy. Just like Hexy's manipulation of dark energy, it can cover the entire Angel Nebula. Runing's calculation speed of the wormhole algorithm is much higher than that of the ordinary 3-generation Angel. In one afternoon, Tasaka Rin told all the magic she knew and learned. Even Luo Tang's occasional magical questions made her confused and didn't know how to answer them. Natasha Romanoff was completely dizzy, just like listening to the Bible. For things like magic, normal people don't have a long-term study and a certain ability, and they can't even get started. Tang Jun, I have already said all the things I know. Rin Tosaka knelt on the sofa and said something with embarrassment. The whole afternoon of teaching made her feel that she might not even know what magic is. Facing the questions that Luo Tang occasionally asks, with her existing knowledge, she can't find the answer at all. Luo Tang nodded. With a swipe of the index finger of his right hand, a black on of yin and qi flickered on the fingertip. With the assistance of the space-based system, the black light dissipated and turned into a white magic seal again. The magic engraving turned into a small magic circle, which gave birth to the magic formula. How is this possible? Tasaka Rin stared blankly at the ever-changing magic in Luo Tang's hands. She felt that she might have learned fake magic in the past 10 years. Or it's her magical aptitude, which is really so bad that it can't be cured. Otherwise, how could there be such a difference between people? Tasaka Rin looks suspicious of life, and Natasha Romanoff is also broken. Luo Tang's completely unreasonable existence has severely damaged all their previous cognitions. The magic knowledge reserve has been sorted out, and its existence form has been discovered. It has a very high calculation improvement value. Do you want to start calculating? Calculate. By the way, how about the genetic improvement of the new element that was said to be calculated last time, and the follow-up calculation of reality gem? Luo Tang didn't care about the reaction of the two, and concentrated on dealing with the operation of the space-based system. New element genetic improvement. It was the project he started after he took Hexy to get new elements from Iron Man last time. This kind of new element that is completely harmless to the human body and even has the characteristics of being soluble in biological genes, Hexy thinks it is valuable, so he will naturally not give up computing. And reality gems. Luo Tang guessed that this thing might be the key for him to unlock the knowledge of void and anti-void. You must know that his space-based system is a large computer now, and it is not very useful except for calculations. Zhe Shaolun's ambition is also combined with the anti-void knowledge given by Ji Xin. Reality can only be changed after creating a low-profile version of the big clock, Qian Kun. Luo Tang feels that once the secret of reality gem is solved, he is likely to be the next big clock. At that time, what kind of 48-frequency black hole engine is only suitable for eating shit? Okay. New element in gene integrate operation. Data theory calculation has been completed, gene improvement model, 3,000 perfect possibilities have been deduced, and the plan is being optimized, and it is estimated that it will take another 3 days. Reality gem, due to the lack of key data templates and concept templates, can only be deduced to 84%. Subsequent derivations need to improve the database or overcome corresponding technical barriers. The answer from the space-based system made Luo Tang sigh inwardly. The theory of void and anti-void, Carl researched for tens of thousands of years before he created the void device. He wants to research it, but it's not that easy. Tang Jun, have you mastered magic? Tasaka Rin swallowed, his small face still unable to hide his shock. What do you want to learn? Now I can teach you. Luo Tang nodded. Is it okay to wear something like that? Walking around? Is it wormhole calculation? Wait for me to deduce it. Well, it requires more magic power in terms of magic, but this thing is quite simple. Luo Tang waved one hand, and a 6-pointed star magic circle full of complex magic circuits appeared in the air. Calculating wormholes through magic equations, the landing point is not accurate enough, but relatively, the calculation speed is much faster. For him, with the assistance of the space-based system, it is really extremely simple. Seeing this complicated magic engraving, Tasaka Rin almost rolled his eyes and passed out. What a joke. Is this easy? Is it easy? Such a complex magic circle, even a big magician, probably has to be carefully crafted, depicting and resting the magic circuit countless times. Tang Jun, I think you may have misunderstood the word simple. Rin Tasaka looked shocked. Well, how about this? I will explain the principle to you. and then make a magic seal for you. Luo Tang scratched his head, thinking of Kamar Taj, who can travel through wormholes at will, and said a compromise. The magician of Kamar Taj can open miniature wormholes with only a small amount of magic power through the mysterious ring. The magic engraving can completely have the same effect as the mysterious ring. But when is it a trip to Kamar Taj? The opponent's magic is obviously different from Tasaka Rin's magic, and he can even use Time Gem. Both Time Gem and Space Gem belong to the conceptual level. If he can use his knowledge to unlock the secrets of void and anti-void operations, his strength will definitely skyrocket in an instant. Really? Tang Jun, thank you very much. Rin Tasaka nodded happily, and bowed to Luo Tang again at 90 degrees. Natasha Romanoff, are you either? Luo Tang turned to look at Natasha Romanoff, who had no sense of presence. Can I? I don't seem to have magical powers. Natasha Romanoff raised her head in surprise. It's not difficult to switch the algorithm of energy supply to support it with biological energy. Luo Tang waved his hands casually. Tang Jun, you're not difficult, as very mocking to me. Tosaka Rin puffed up his face. Yes? Luo Tang scratched his head and laughed. The ability of the space-based system really made him a little bit fond of it. Although it is just a supercomputer now, its potential is unlimited. This calculation and learning speed alone has increased his speed of becoming stronger by countless times. In the world of Super Seminary. Hexy, where did you go 2 days ago? Keisha clasped her hands together, with some doubts in her eyes. Liang Bing, Ronning and others also cast curious eyes. In the past 2 days, Hexy has changed a lot. Moreover, the new elements brought back by the other party have already begun to steadily improve their genes. This obvious improvement made Keisha worry. What exactly happened to Hexy? I went to a magical place and met my man. She chuckled, with a little miss in her beautiful eyes. A journey across the world, a fateful encounter. Zai's simple words shocked Kesha, Liang Bing and the others inexplicably. What kind of terrifying existence is Wanji Travel Agency? Why can people cross the world? What is the appearance of the male god with golden wings in Hexy's mouth that makes Hexy so obsessed? Everyone is fantasizing. Can they also experience such a dream trip? Manhattan, New York. In Luo Tang's room. Tasaka Rin lay on the soft couch with a frightened face. The hot red ears and the faintly reddened skin on the neck proved how shy the little girl was right now. It was the first time for her that a man and a woman were in the same room together. Can you start? Rin Tasaka murmured. On your arm, there is a rubbish magic engraving. I'll remove it for you first. Luo Tang pressed one hand on Tasaka Rin's back, making the little girl shiver. No. Can't they be kept at the same time? It's too rubbish, it will affect your magic power operation. I will engrave a good one for you next time. And next time? You don't want it? My magic engraving is stronger than the highest level engraving of the clock tower. Want to? Rin Tasaka felt that the magic power in his body and Luo Tang's magic power merged together, and he couldn't speak easily. More than half an hour. Luo Tang did a lot of tinkering before drawing the space engraving. At this time, Tasaka Rin was already like a cooked prawn, and his whole body was red and hot. After Luo Tang left the room, it took her a while to get up from the soft couch, leaning on the wall and walking out of the bedroom. How? Natasha Romanoff asked Tasaka Rin with some urgency in his eyes. You know, Luo Tang said just now that she also made a magic seal for her. Who doesn't want the ability to travel through space? Very, very shameful. Tasaka Rin's little head almost got into the poached egg. Natasha Romanoff froze for a moment. Was that what she was asking? She is asking the little girl about the magic engraving, okay? Who asked her if she was shy? And, isn't it just staying in the same room? You didn't do anything, you're ashamed. The little girl is thin-skinned. Cough cough, Lin Zhong. Let's try to see if it works. Luo Tang coughed lightly, interrupting the embarrassing atmosphere. Well, good. Tasaka Rin responded with his head lowered. The magic engraving on the back lit up, and a golden hexagram array appeared in front of her. With one step, she disappeared into the room. It's amazing. Tasaka Rin's exclamation came from the second floor. This kind of space magic beyond conventional magic made her keep trying it with joy. But after just a few times, her magic power ran out. The magic power and the dark energy used by Luo Tang are not the same level of energy source after all, and it consumes too much for Tasaka Rin. Mr. Luo Tang, when do we start? There was some anticipation in Natasha Romanoff's beautiful eyes, and her jade hands naturally slid down from her neck, making people unable to help but look at the white and greasy place. Luo Tang swallowed. Damn dick. This chick is seducing him, isn't she? Definitely seducing her. Shameful. Absolutely let this kind of woman suffer the consequences. Ahem, come with me. Luo Tang said to Natasha Romanoff, turned and walked into the room. A moment later, a scalp-tingling conversation came from the room. Kacha, Mr. Luo Tang, my bones are broken. I'm sorry, the magic circuit is unstable, please bear with it. Click. Oh. God. The spine seems to be misaligned. It hurts. Sorry, this is a mistake. Puff, damn. Mr. Luo Tang, I vomit blood. I'll be careful, I promise. Oh, Mr. Luo Tang. Why didn't Rin break a bone, and didn't vomit blood? Ahem. She has magic power in her body, and she has a strong tolerance to magic power. You just have a better physique than ordinary people, which is different. I have received professional pain tolerance training. Why is it still so painful? Part of the pain caused by the special energy of magic power will directly act on the soul. Shit. The horrible screams of a dead father echoed on the third floor. Luo Tang asked the system of Wanji Travel Agency to block the outside transmission of the voice, otherwise someone would have called the police long ago. Tasaka Rin, who was quietly looking at the crack of the door, had a look of lingering fear on his small face. She is really fortunate that she has magic power and is very resistant to magic power. Otherwise, how could she endure such pain? It took a full half an hour before Luo Tang completed the magic engraving, so he stopped tormenting Natasha Romanoff. This girl actually dared to think badly about him just now. How about not warning me? He is not the kind of person who will be confused by beauty and easily used by others. And, best of all, he doesn't wear broken shoes. The next half a month, Luo Tang has been teaching Tasaka Rin after thoroughly researching the basic concepts of magic. Natasha Romanoff also joined the learning team after finding out that Luo Tang did not shy away from her. After all, it is an elite agent, although it cannot cultivate magic power because of its lack of ability. But the speed of learning theoretical knowledge is frighteningly fast. Rin Tasaka, the girl who was hit by Luo Tang, almost wondered if she was stupid. More than half a month. Rin Tasaka and Natasha Romanoff have several more magic engravings. In terms of strength, the two have at least doubled several times. Tang Jun, is my travel time coming soon? Wearing a small black suspender and home clothes, Rin Tasaka sat on the sofa and asked with a disappointed face. There is still 1 hour. You'd better take advantage of this time to change your clothes. Also, the gold and precious stones are in the suitcase under the soft couch, which should be enough for you for several years. Well, then you are not going to see me for a few years? Don't worry. You finish your studies well, and I will take your order next summer or winter vacation. Okay, by the way, remember what I said before? Be careful Kotamine Kire. Okay, let's go. Luo Tang patted Tasaka Rin's little head. The girl returned to the bedroom with a look of reluctance, and put away the clothes and souvenirs she bought during this period. After an hour, dragging a large suitcase in one hand, she walked into the rippling door of the travel agency step by step. Luo Tang watched Rin Tasaka disappear and sighed slightly. Ding, tourist Tasaka Rin, the purpose of the trip has been achieved, and he has returned to the original world. Ding, complete the tourist reception. The host can choose any ability, bloodline, and item from Rin Tasaka. Ding. The accumulated experience value is 100%. Wanji Travel Agency is upgraded. The upper limit of tourists is raised to sea level, and the LV2 system can receive 2 tourists at the same time. The system's notification tone diluted Luo Tang's just rising sadness. With the thought that we will meet again, he shook his head and put the reluctance in his heart out of his mind. Rin. What should I choose? Luo Tang scratched his chin. He has already learned all of Tasaka Rin's magic, and his level is far superior to that of the other party. The space-based system has even deduced many super large and complex magic tricks, and the clock tower may not have as many magic tricks as he knows. System. Copy the gemstone necklace. Luo Tang thought for a while, and chose the magic dress gemstone necklace. The gemstone necklace, for him, may be the only thing that is still useful. He had already probed the material of that thing before. For special energy, it has a very high storage ability. If the magic power in it is transformed into dark energy and continuously accumulated, it might become a great treasure. Even if it doesn't work, using it as a dark energy, charging treasure, is of great use in emergencies. Ding. Magic dress gem necklace has been stored in the system warehouse, please check with the host. Flip the gemstone necklace out of the system warehouse. Luo Tang asked the space-based system to change its magical properties and turn it into a higher level of dark energy, while looking at the new tourist list. Tourist list: Edward Newgate from the world of One Piece, one of the 4 emperors who dominate the second half of the Great Route. Purpose of travel: to collect more suns, sea-level tourists. Aizen Soyusuke from the world of Death God, the captain of the 13th Division and the 5th Division of Gote. Purpose of travel: standing on the sky seat, sea-level tourists. Ignir from the world of Fairy Tail, the Fire Dragon King of the Dragon Clan. Purpose of travel: looking for an opportunity to coexist with human beings, sea-level tourist. Blowing Snow from Hell from the world of One Punch Superman, the number 1 B-class hero, the Trembling Tornado Sister. Purpose of travel: to become stronger, D-class tourist. Eren Yeager from the world of Attack on Titan, number 5 in various assessments of the bootcamp. Purpose of travel: to know the secret of Titan, D-class tourist. This year's tourists are not easy to bring. Luo Tang looked at the list of tourists and scratched his head with pain in his face. Edward Newgate with white beard, the best is the best, but the purpose of the trip is really crazy. Could it be that after taking the order, he brought a big man over 6 meters tall all over the world to recognize his son? Recognize Iron Man first, then recognize Green Titan, and then accept Captain America later? Nima. The picture was so beautiful that he couldn't imagine it. And Aizen Soyusuke. Luo Tang is very envious of Zanpakuto, but also, he really can't do the other party's travel purpose. He knows how deep the water in the world of Death God is. And Aizen, who is still in Gote's 13th squad, is very strong, but it is only very strong. A month's travel time, standing on the sky? Are you afraid you were dreaming? It's useless to pick up this kind of travel ticket. Without the copying opportunity given by the system, how could Luo Tang count on that conspirator Aizen to take the initiative to give him Zanpakuto? Of the 3 sea-level tourists, the only one who gave him a chance was Fire Dragon King Ignir. But this product is a real fire dragon. Fire Dragon King Ignir, Fairy Tail World, Natsu's adoptive father. He is also the leader of the coexistence with human faction among the Dragon Clan. In order to defeat the Black Dragon Akranoria, together with the 4-headed dragons such as the Sky Dragon and the Iron Dragon, they shuttled back from 400 years ago and possessed the 5 Dragon Slayer wizards including Naz. Originally, the purpose of its travel is very simple, the only trouble is probably the appearance. Can Ignir turn into a human? Well, at least it should be able to shrink. Luo Tang muttered in his heart, and took Ignir's travel order. The gate of the travel agency once again rippled like water waves. Roar, accompanied by a deep roar, a file-size faucet like a truck drilled out of the space gate. The ferocious dragon horns and dense scales carried an unspeakable terrifying aura. The saliva at the corner of the mouth, like lava, exudes scorching heat. With a gnawing light in his eyes, Ignir sized up Luo Tang for a long while before opening his mouth. Can I trouble you to make this damn door bigger? The breath from Ignir's mouth caused a gust of wind to blow in the travel agency. Fortunately, under the protection of system rules, things in the travel agency will not be damaged. Otherwise, with just this sentence, the travel agency will be decorated in vain. Couldn't you be smaller? Luo Tang had black lines on his head. This will damage the majesty of my Fire Dragon King. Ignil replied in a low voice. F*K. You have bad breath, Ignil. Do you have a way to get rid of it? You come in first. I'm in, tell me. With a flash of red light, Ignir shrank to a height of more than 2 meters and a length of more than 4 meters. With wings curled up, he walked into the travel agency. Luo Tang looked at Ignir, who was waiting for his answer with his eyes wide open, and the corners of his eyes twitched. What about the majesty of the Fire Dragon King? Are you a fake Fire Dragon King? Cleaning magic. Luo Tang's eyes were a little pained, and with a wave of his hand, strong magic elements swept through Ignir's mouth. The sharp teeth with tartar were restored to cleanliness in the blink of an eye, and there was a faint smell of mint in the air. Oh, nice little magic. Ignir showed a humanized and comfortable expression on his face. Raising the dragon claw, he snapped his fingers, and the magic that was 80% similar to Luo Tang's cleaning magic swept over him. Luo Tang raised his eyebrows, secretly thinking that the dragon magic ability is awesome. Just by watching him use it once and experiencing it, you can imitate it a lot. Luo Tang, dragons and humans, can they coexist harmoniously? Ignir laid down on the floor carelessly after pretending to be aggressive. Theoretically yes, but I'll talk about this later, I have to pick up a guest. Luo Tang shrugged and looked at the tourist list again. With C-level tourists, in fact, his demand for D-level tourists has dropped a lot. After all, a C-rank Fire Dragon King can defeat countless D ranks. The power levels of the two are really far apart. Just her ability is somewhat useful. Luo Tang muttered inwardly and took a D-level travel receipt. The gate that had just regained its calm was once again rippling. Wearing a black cheongsam, a sexy beauty with short black hair came out of the gate. The emerald green eyes carried an indifference that rejected people thousands of miles away. The fiery figure and the mature temperament of Yuji are perfectly combined. Although her face is still a little immature, such a woman is indeed a stunner. Fubuki from hell, welcome. Luo Tang greeted with a smile on his face. It's just that Fubuki of hell at the moment had no intention of saying hello at all. The original indifference turned into fear and defense. Raising her hands slightly, a tornado blew up in her palms, obviously ready to strike at any time. Although she was only a B-level 1 hero, she didn't show the slightest timidity when facing Ignir. Human, are you provoking the majesty of the Fire Dragon King? Ignir scratched his chin with his dragon claws and yawned lazily. Anyway, it is the Fire Dragon King. Even without magic, he is many times stronger than Fubuki from hell in terms of pure strength. It would be strange if he could look straight at Fubuki of hell. Fire Dragon King? A dragon-level monster. A drop of cold sweat slid down Fubuki's face in hell. The tornado in her palm was continuously compressed by her, and it was being compressed, gathering more and more energy, making it more difficult for her to control it. Monster. Roar. Ignir roared, and a ball of dragon flames quickly condensed in the dragon's mouth. Just because he doesn't like Xiao Chongzi doesn't mean that Xiao Chongzi can act recklessly in front of him. Luo Tang took a deep breath, his face was full of displeasure. Please be quiet. This is my territory. Hum, boom. A golden light flashed in the travel agency. Fire Dragon King Ignir and Fubuki of hell were crushed to the ground without any resistance. The travel agency has system protection. Here, he is an invincible god. Dare to be presumptuous, he can keep these two guys on the ground for a month. Fubuki from hell was in the shape of a swastika, and was firmly pressed to the ground. With a bit of unwillingness on Xiao's face, she bit her lower lip tightly and tried hard to get up from the ground, but she couldn't even move a single finger. This ability is gravity? No, it's the rule. Ignir answered Fubuki's question, and Longan was deeply shocked. The few top magics in the fairy tale world also involve the power of some rules, and these magics are called forbidden magic. But the power of that magic is not enough for at the moment. Can you speak calmly? Luo Tang had a kind smile on his face, as if it wasn't him who lost his temper just now. Can you let me get up first? Fubuki from hell quickly calmed down. She was already a very smart person, but just now when she suddenly saw Ignir with a fierce face, she was confused. At the moment saw the same situation between the two, and immediately made the most suitable judgment. Ahem. And me, damn it, I just choked on me, Ignil said bitterly. Although I thought that Luo Tang's power would be very strong, but this is too strong. Moreover, the dragon flames that had just accumulated were swallowed alive by him. The hot taste made him feel uncomfortable. Very good. Luo Tang clapped his hands, and with a thought, the suppression of the travel agency was lifted. Ignir and Hell's Fubuki stood up from the ground, and their attitudes were much better than before. No matter which world, power is something that makes people awesome. Let me introduce you to each other. This dragon is called Ignir, the Fire Dragon King of the Dragon Clan, and this lady, Fubuki from Hell, ranks first in Class B of the Heroes Association. Hi, Ignil. Hello human, Fubuki from Hell. Under Luo Tang's introduction, Hell Fubuki and Ignir greeted each other honestly. As the saying goes, people have to bow their heads under the eaves, and the same is true for dragons. In the face of absolute power, be dishonest and wait to make dragon meat stew? Look, how good it is to get along like this, Luo Tang said with a smile. What answered him was Ignir's white eyes and Fubuki's ignorance. So, to celebrate our first meeting, let's have a meal together. Which of you can cook? Luo Tang clapped his hands and continued. The travel agency ushered in the longest silence. Ignil looked at Fubuki of Hell. You are human, you should be able to do it. My family has a hired chef. Hell Fubuki's cheeks twitched slightly, and he replied coldly. I kind of regret sending Rin away. Luo Tang looked up to the sky and sighed. Putting one hand on his right ear, he directly asked the space-based system to call Natasha Romanoff. After Natasha Romanoff got acquainted with Luo Tang, she was not as nervous as she was at the beginning. After Nick Fury determined that he would not cause too much harm to the Earth, he voluntarily gave up the surveillance. 3 days ago, Natasha Romanoff had to return to S.H.I.E.L.D. because of a special mission. Bring me a table of Chinese food. By the way, Ignir, how much can you eat? Luo Tang said after the call was connected. 50 sheep. Ignir raised his dragon claw and gestured. Another 50 roasted whole lambs. Asshole. I'm not a nanny, okay. And for this kind of thing, you should call the restaurant. Natasha Romanoff lowered her voice and replied angrily. You guys are faster. Luo Tang scratched his chin and answered indifferently. Damn, I'm on a mission, you call director Nick Fury directly. I don't think so, the guest is here. The entertainer. Who will treat you? Big shit. Luo Tang replied and hung up the phone. Outside the gate of the travel agency, Tony Stark wearing steel armor slowly fell from the sky. He was hijacked by terrorists and returned safely half a month ago. Now you come here wearing the armor of the mark, are you planning to seek revenge? Found you. Let's fight, bastard. Tony Stark pushed the door open. Walking into the travel agency with an arrogant step of disapproval. Looking at Ignir curled up in the travel agency, he subconsciously sighed. Jarvis, this model is so realistic. Roar. A roar from a dragon made Tony Stark die. Subconsciously activated the jet of the steel armor, trying to fly out of the travel agency, but an invisible light door trapped him here. Hey, big man, do you believe me when I say I went through the wrong door? Tony Stark leaned his back against the door, feeling bad all over. Dragon. What a giant dragon. When I saw Angel before, he could still be said to be some kind of mutant creature, but what about this one? Did the big lizard mutate? Mr. Big Shit, aren't you going to fight? Have a fight with Ignir? Luo Tang led Fushui with a playful face, and walked out from behind Ignir. Tony's chef is a well-known elite in the United States. No matter how you look at it, the food tastes better than the ones from S.H.I.E.L.D.